Hi children, it's Grandma Carla and it's time to solve the mystery. The last chapter of the Crazy Christmas Angel Mystery. Chapter 11. Eric heard a soft, cooing sound. Mr. Tressler was coming through the living room. Eric leaned forward to see what was on his shoulders. Eric couldn't help it. He stared. Mr. Tressler stood in the doorway. He was covered with white doves. They perched on his shoulders and on his head, and when he cupped his hands, 3 flew into them. So these are the angels, thought Eric. The birds seemed so comfortable around the old man. It was like he was their trusted friend. Dee Dee's eyes grew wide. Carly giggled. Abby's jaw dropped 2 feet. Stacy whispered, "Wow." Duncombe scratched his head and stared. Sean and Jimmy watched silently. Jason blinked his eyes faster than ever. Softly, Mr. Tressler began to whistle. The doves cooed along. Eric could see their short legs under their round bodies. What a strange sight. Doves do look like tiny angels, thought Eric, all in white with big wings. Eric felt good inside. Mr. Tressler wasn't like anyone he'd ever met, except maybe for Grandpa. Grandpa loved birds, that was no secret, and sometimes he did strange things too, like tramping around in the spring spying on birds with his field glasses. Mr. Tressler stopped whistling. "Merry Christmas, kids," he said, waving his arms. The doves flew to the Christmas tree. They perched on the branches. And there is Mr. Tressler with doves all over him. And he is whistling. And then his doves like to sing along with him. The kids shouted, "Merry Christmas, Mr. Tressler." The new neighbor wore the widest grin on Blossom Hill Lane. And Eric whispered to him, "You whistle good." The old man winked at him. "So do you." "Want to come caroling, whistling with us?" Eric asked. Mr. Tressler reached for his cane and his long brown coat. It looked just fine, not creepy at all. First stop, Eric's house. Eric pressed the doorbell. He stood beside Mr. Tressler. They whistled while the others sang Silent Night. They sounded good. Grandpa came to the door. Eric introduced him to Mr. Tressler. Grandpa gave Eric a big hug, and then he grabbed his coat and hat. He joined the group as they caroled around the cul-de-sac. Eric was so happy, he stopped whistling and tried to sing. It sounded flat, but it didn't matter. Mr. Tressler would never have to be alone again. The cul-de-sac kids could be the old man's family. Mr. Tressler's cane danced in the air as the carolers went from house to house. Soon they came back to the old man's house. He invited Eric's grandfather inside for coffee. The cul-de-sac kids waved goodbye to them. "Merry Christmas," they shouted. "And a Merry Christmas to all of you," Mr. Tressler said, waving his cane. He was out of breath, but a smile burst across his long face. Before the 2 men reached the porch, Eric was whistling again. It was time for his favorite carols, "Angels We Have Heard on High." And this is Grandma Carla with the end of a delightful book from the Cul-de-Sac Kids, The Crazy Christmas Angel Mystery. And that was by Beverly Lewis, who is fast becoming one of my favorite authors. And this is Grandma Carla, and I love you.